Hello, everybody, and welcome tonight here to Iowa Speedway for the Big Fish Motorsports 150 here at Iowa Speedway for the Original Rebels Racing League. My name is Zach Wetstein. I'm here tonight with Tanner Marr. How you doing tonight, Tanner?
I'm doing good, Zach. Happy to be here. A little side note: Iowa is my favorite track ever. Like I like it more than Bristol. You know, I love my short tracks, but I love Iowa. Has a very special place in my heart. So I know tonight these boys are going to put on a show like they have pretty much all season. But I know tonight's going to be a little bit extra.
Yeah, this track is just under a mile, and we got 74 degrees as the track temperature here tonight. As you see, it is a night race, and so uh, temperature of the track not going to be too much of an issue for these drivers tonight, but those tires definitely will be. And if you take a look at the track there, I mean, you can definitely tell it's very odd looking. In terms of, I mean, if you just look at the turns, they're just not. Usually when you see NASCAR tracks, they're kind of the turns are kind of no dents in them, I could say. And if you look at 3 and 4 there on the left, right in the middle of the turn, it's definitely not a perfect circle. So tough track, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how these drivers can kind of tame this track here tonight as we are under qualifying currently. Patrick Jerbick with the fastest time so far.
You know, Zach, you hit on how the how the turns are here at Iowa. One thing these drivers got to watch out for as they get down towards the line in turn 1 and 2, and then up a little bit, about 2 grooves in 3 and 4. There's a pretty significant bump in the middle of these corners, and if you hit that bump just right, you can upset these cars. And even though the track is cool, there's a lot of grip in the track for these boys to play with tonight. You still got to be careful racing side by side when you hit them bumps.
Yeah, you got to be careful racing side by side here at all. I don't even down the back stretch and the front stretch. I mean, that front stretch is not straight at all, so you got to be really careful. As Josh Hall qualifying here gets a little loose, but he's able to keep that car under himself. He's 11th fastest so far. See that intensity broadcasting paint scheme for the 81. And gets loose in 3 and 4, and that's going to be it for Josh in qualifying.
I've noticed, Zach, just going through here, just kind of watching some of the other drivers qualify. I've noticed that not everybody's electing to run the bottom lane. I'm seeing some of these drivers elect to run almost like they're straddling the dotted white line along the track. So they're about a groove up from the bottom. And as this race goes on, in real life Iowa, you start to move up the racetrack. I'm not sure if they'll move up tonight, but there will be speed in that middle line tonight.
Jeff Paisley qualifies 4th. And now we're here with Josh Oswald in the 17. Going to look to try to take the pole spot away from Garrett Kinder, who has it so far. Just misses it as he qualifies 2nd with that lap, and that's going to be it for Mr. Oswald. So he's going to at least start this race what looks like in the top 5. Nobody else qualifying as of now. And while nobody is qualifying, we'll take a quick look at the Xtreme Xfinity schedule remaining for this series. A lot of races left until the playoffs. Tonight, Iowa. Next week, we head to, or actually, I think we take a week off. So, in a couple of weeks, April 9th, we head to Dover International Speed. I actually won't be here to broadcast that, so we'll see who's actually broadcasting that race. But Dover in a couple weeks, IRP, Gateway. So, I mean, that's 3 very interesting tracks in a row. And then we head to a couple or 3 big tracks: Michigan, Indianapolis, and Talladega, Charlotte, Homestead, Kansas, and then, of course, that Daytona Road Course finishes out the season. And we've talked about it before, and I think we'll continue to talk about it until we get past it, as that is just a really tough racetrack to have to depend on if you need to get into the playoffs off of that race.
Oh yes, I mean the drivers especially, but even us up in the broadcast booth, we're looking forward to the Daytona Road Course. Probably the drivers are not looking forward to it if I had to guess. We'll have a few ringers in here that might be looking forward to it, but you put these stock cars, they're heavy, they're made just to turn left, and you put them on a road course, turn left and right. Man, it's a task. It's gonna be a very interesting race that night.
Yeah, I'm interested to see Zach Wilson who won the season opener. I'm interested to see if he'll race that because I know he loves road courses. So we'll see if he maybe comes back and visits the series. I believe he's been busy recently. We haven't seen him in many Original Rebels races. So we'll see if we can get him back in the series at least for that because I know he loves road courses. But that so far, or for now, is your schedule as qualifying's over. And we're going to get you your grid. Garrett Kinder, Reaper Racing, gets the pole spot with a 24.233. Josh Oswald gets that second fastest time on the outside there in second. Third place, Patrick Jerbick with Joshua Sexton on his outside in fourth. Number 7, Jeff Paisley qualifies fifth tonight with Jamie Barkas on his outside in sixth. P7 tonight is Logan the Big Fish Sturgeon with Jesse Necula on his outside in P8. Dylan Walterman ninth tonight with Jeremy Brault in 10th. Sam Wetstein qualifies P11. 12th is Chuck Feltz. P13 tonight, Justin Hendry with Josh Hall on the 14 on his outside. Gregory Sherman qualifies tonight 15th. And Mike Veith qualifies on his outside in 16th. And the remaining drivers did not qualify. Tia Swank, 17th. Tyler Gatsky, Mickey Isaac, Brandon Wallace, Matt Knights, and Eric Santee round out tonight's field. 22 drivers there. We'll see how many actually grid up. As of now, it looks like we have, I would say, at least 20. Seeing best shot at getting these cars here, but Garrett Kinder still is not gridded up there, along with Logan, Chuck, Tyler, and Mickey, it looks like, and along with Jonah Colbert, who I think just joined the session, actually. So, Tanner, before we actually head off here into this race, what do you think's gonna be the biggest difficulty for these drivers here heading into turn one with looks like about 20 drivers or so?
Patience and space, Zach. Patience and space. Yes, all these drivers, when these tires are cold, they're going to have to take it easy. You can't just go out here and try to turn a qualifying lap, especially when you got somebody on your inside or outside. So you got to be patient. You're going to be aware of what's around you and hope that the people around you are as well.
As we'll do a couple of pace laps here and we'll get racing. As once again, Garrett Kinder, your pole sitter, and on his outside, Josh Oswald. They will lead this pack to green here tonight at Iowa. A great season thus far through 6 weeks. Last week at Atlanta. Last week we had a caution on lap, I believe, 2. We went back to green on lap 5 and went green the rest of the way. So this series has done a very nice job throughout every single race, no matter how tough the racetrack is, getting a lot of green flag laps in. So tonight, I expect no different, even with this being a tough track.
Yeah, we hit on it. Me and my buddies that racing this series, we talked about it just today, actually. We said that this is the one series every week that we can bank on a long green flag run coming. It don't matter what track these boys went to. Bristol, we had it. I mean, that's a tough track. It gets no tougher than Bristol, maybe Daytona Road Course. But as far as ovals go, Bristol, Iowa, that's tough tracks, but I fully expect a good green flag run here tonight, Zach.
Yeah, I'm glad you said as far as ovals, because I'm pretty sure that Daytona Road Course is probably going to have local yellows instead of full course, so we shouldn't have any full course cautions in that race, hopefully.
If I was driving, I wish there was a full course caution, because I'm going to need time to rein it in.
All right, here we go. That new sedan's going to pull off, and it leaves it to the iRacing green, at least at the start of the race. The green flag is out. Garrett Kinder and Josh Oswald 1-2, but here comes Patrick Jerbick, or actually it's Drabick, sorry, I forgot. He told me that yesterday, or last week. It's Drabick. So Patrick Drabick gets the second position, and he's going for the lead.
I like that, and I like seeing this much racing. Actually, the 69 and 17 of Josh Oswald just had a little bit of slight contact. All's well, we're going well. And Drabick in the 07 is looking to take that lead, and he has.
Yeah, Patrick, one of the most dominant cars all season long, along with his teammate. So he gets out to the lead here early. We'll see if he's able to maintain it. But we're going to move a little bit back. Here goes Joshua Sexton for P2. So Garrett Kinder, our pole sitter, and along with Josh Oswald, starting to fall back just a little bit. But Garrett Kinder going to be able to hold that second spot. Now Joshua Sexton under fire from Jamie Barkus.
There you go, right there. That's Jamie Barkus and Patrick in the 07. I mean, they've been two of the most dominant cars week in and week out, and I think they put in a lot of practice, Zach, and it always shows how when they come out here, you can always find those two names up near the front of the field.
Everybody pretty single filed out. A lot of close racing, just no side-by-side racing as far as I can tell. But definitely with this being a short track, a lot of close quarter racing here. And, you know, these turns aren't that banked, so you got to be very careful if you're going to dive to the inside below somebody, because if you just dive a little bit too deep into the turn, you can push up into that driver.
Yeah, a track like this, it races, this is going to sound funny because it was modeled after Richmond. It races a lot like a track like Richmond will. And Phoenix, just tracks like that. It's not necessarily classified as a short track maybe because it's a mile in length, a little bit under a mile, but you have to race it as such, and you got to be aware of what's going on around you at all times because, like you said, not a whole lot of banking. You go in underneath somebody, you hit one of them bumps the wrong way, you're going to wash up and you're going to take that guy out. So it's best in these early stages right here, early laps, go single file and just ride it out and click some laps off, and that's what these boys are doing. They're doing a pretty good job of it.
Justin Hendry and Sam Wetstein fighting for position. Justin Hendry gets loose. He's able to save it, but that's going to cost him one, if not two, positions. As here comes the 06 behind Josh Hall. That's Gregory Sherman in the 06 trying to make a pass for the 13th position, but Justin Hendry does a nice job at saving that car, collecting it, and only losing one spot.
That was a good little save off that bobble by Justin Hendry. And Chuck Felix in the 75, Charles Felix, he just came across the radio and said he was pitting out. So he started P12, I think it was, and he must have had some type of issue because he was on pit lane already.
Yeah, not sure what happened to that car. But so far, 8 laps in, coming to lap 9, Patrick Drabick is your leader. But Garrett Kinder starting to close in just a tiny bit. As your top 5 here early on, Patrick Drabick, Garrett Kinder, Jamie Barkus, Josh Sexton, and Jeff Paisley. Sexton working on the back bumper of Jamie Barkus here.
You know, we mention it all the time, Zach, but Iowa's no different. This is another track. If we pop off a long green flag run, at some point you got to start to worry about your tires and how they're conserving the rubber or how they're using the rubber. So right now I think it's best, like I just said, just to fall in line and click off laps. Maybe not let the guy in front of you get too far away, but just try to manage your pace to stay fast enough to conserve your equipment.
Well, we know Justin Hendry has at least a little bit of speed in that car because he was able to take back the spot that he lost after getting loose. So a nice job by him recovering and actually getting back to that position that he was, because sometimes when you get loose, not only can that knock you out of your rhythm, but it can also hurt those tires a little bit. So it doesn't look like it's affected that 85 too much, and he's still rolling on.
I've noticed he was one I saw in qualifying. He's electing to run a little bit higher in 3 and 4. But yeah, to hit on like what you said when he got loose, any type of extra heat in the tires is going to cost you. As we got a yellow flag on track somewhere, Zach, but I'm not.
Chuck Phelps. Oh, that car is destroyed.
Oh, tough break for Chuck. So I found out he throughput a while ago. He lagged out of the server, came back, and now this.
Yeah, just gets loose out of 4. We're going to check it out here. Man, all the way down the front stretch. Not sure what happened there. It looks like maybe something happened to him again internet-wise because he just stayed on the gas.
He came across iRacing, Zach, and said his computer locked up completely. He said he's having internet issue or hardware issues right now. But yeah, tough hit for that car.
And unfortunately,
Ooh.
that's
And
unfortunate. The 8 of Matt Knight's caught up in that because just bad timing, wrong place, wrong time for the 8 car there.
worst possible thing that could have happened. I mean, he went all the way up to the wall. He couldn't turn right anymore, and he just about made it by, but unfortunately, just about don't cut it. That's a tough break for the 8 car.
And we have 5 tire sets here tonight instead of what we usually have in 4. So for 150 laps around here, that is a good amount of tires, but they can go away quick. So you got to make sure to manage them the right way.
Zach, was you able to speak with any of the drivers concerning the fuel consumption tonight? Like how many laps can they go on a green flag run or whatnot?
Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure, but I heard from some drivers. I won't say specifically, but they said that if they could make it to halfway, which they were certain they could, which is 75, that they would want to split it into 2. So you can at least make it to halfway from what it sounds like.
All right, that's what I was. If I was going to guess for money, I was going to say throw a bet out for about 60 laps. So 75 sounds like a stretch to me, but they've tested it. I haven't, so I'm going to take their word for it.
Yes, we have Tyler Gatsky, Chuck Feltz, obviously down pit road. We had a couple other drivers as well, but Tyler Gatsky here. Not sure if he's getting tires, getting fuel. I would think it's too early to just pit for fuel, obviously, so we'll see if maybe he gets 4 fresh good years. Or maybe if he has damage he needs to get fixed. Who knows?
Checking some of our comers and goers. I know we're only 15 laps in, Zach, but Eric Santi in the 81 machine, he gridded 22nd to start the race, and he's currently sitting 14th if my timing and scoring is correct. I think he's the biggest shaker, biggest mover so far right now. We've had a couple movers and a couple people that has fallen back. You noted on Josh Oswald, he started 2nd outside pole, and he's currently sitting 6th, but he's not too far back from where he started.
Yeah, a lot of drivers from 1 to 4 spots gained here early, but Eric Santi up 8 spots like you mentioned, so that is our biggest mover, 16 laps in. Long way to go. Can even gain more.
Every time I see that, Zach, I always think, well, what is he doing extra on his tires? Did he just have a bad qualifying effort and he's just that much faster on just amount of pace, or is he pushing the car a little bit harder? So it's always interesting seeing a big mover like at 8 spots and what was it, about 13 race laps. That's pretty good pace.
As we should get the one to green here. Get back to racing. First caution of the night, and that was about a 10+ lap run, so nobody really up here chose to pit. Probably smart.
Yep, I just got confirmation from one of the drivers. It's showing about 81 laps. So, yeah, I mean, they got plenty of fuel to go halfway then. But you know, Zach, even when you have enough fuel to make it halfway, that still leaves the door open for some strategy. Not everybody to be on the same pit sequence. So I love these long races. I love calling this series because of pit strategy comes into play, tire strategy comes into play, and I mean, drivers don't want to hear this, but luck also comes into play. Like the 8 car right there, he just got unlucky, got involved in an accident that happened in front of him. But that pace car is about to make that hard left turn. We're about to go green flag racing again here at Iowa.
Absolutely, we are. 2 teammates lining up front to back as we have Drabic in first and Barkas in third. So I imagine those 2 will get a pretty good jump here. The green flag is out. Garrett Kinder on the outside of those 2, going to try to maintain the 2nd position going into turn 1. We'll see if he's able to use that high line to his advantage out of turn 2.
Drabic got a really good jump. Barkas wasn't as fortunate with Garrett Kinder on his outside starting P2. He actually got a decent jump as well. But to Patrick Drybick, I will
Oh
apologize
no, Garrett
because
Kinder's around.
oh no. Let me finish. I will apologize to Patrick because I will end up messing his last name up again
I
probably.
probably have already messed it up. I might have forgotten what he told me to pronounce it.
Tough break for Garrett Kinder running up in P2.
Oh, just two drivers occupying the same spot and a little bit of contact. But thankfully, no other contact for either driver.
Ooh, that was close though, Zach. He had drivers coming in, but luckily they were aware and no more extra damage to that 76. But that shows that how these cars. There's a lot of grip in the track, or Zach. Sorry, but these cars are on edge, and if you barely get a little bit of contact in that left rear, it's going to send you around. As Jamie Barker just came over the radio and said, "Logan, I deserve the EOL." So,
I don't
bravo
know.
to him. For manning up and saying, "Hey, that was me. I did it." But that's a hard call to make. If I'm race control in that situation, Zach, I don't know what call I make on that.
Yeah, I mean, I know he said that, but man, they were both. Garrett Kinder came down just a little bit, and he came up a little bit. We're going to take a second look at it just to waste a little time here, I guess, under caution. It looked like both of them kind of met at the same place. I didn't really see any driver, but we'll take a second look at it.
It's like a magnet comes between their cars, and they just start both inching slowly together, and then
yeah, I mean, Kinder definitely came down, and he came up.
Yeah, it almost looked like Barkis was just maintaining his lane, though, Zach. I think, and this ain't nothing to Kinder.
I'd say at the end he started to come up, but
maybe a little.
I would just say racing incident right there. But if he wants to go over the mic and say EOL me, well, I guess he has the right to do that.
That's going to put him behind the 8-ball, Zach. I mean, he's back here with Garrett Kinder now. Maybe they can work together, and no hard feelings from that. I don't think Garrett realized that wasn't intentional. He didn't want that to happen. Nobody wants to wreck into somebody this early in the race. But kudos for Jamie Barkis for coming across the radio. They said in the driver's meeting there was no race control tonight, so no EOLs will be given unless somebody just calls it out. And Jamie Barkis, he stood up and said, "Hey, that was on me. I'm sorry."
Yeah, I mean, if a driver truly feels like they caused it, well, then they have every right to do that. So, we'll see. Well, I guess we'll track Jamie Barkis's kind of battle from the back of the field now. As with an EOL, he's going to be at the very end of the line. So,
we were watching replays on your stream. I wasn't even able to see if Garrett elected to go down pit road or not, having almost like an extra set of tires in the pits. He did get sideways. I don't think he hurt him a whole lot, Zach, if he didn't pit, but he could have pit right then if he wanted to, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess we'll see just how quickly he comes up the field. If he's in the top 5 within like 10 laps or so, then I guess we'll know the answer to that question.
Absolutely. I haven't never done Xfinity here. I've never had Xfinity on this track, but I've had Cup and I've had trucks. And although this track is not super hard on tires, like say Atlanta Motor Speedway would be, it is still, no matter what you're racing, wherever you're racing at, there is tire fall off. So if he did get fresh rubber and these guys are on 15, 16, 17 old lap tires, there will be a pace difference there. We will be able to see it pretty quickly.
Absolutely.
Long cautions here too. I've noticed that a while back whenever iRacing on the 1.5 mile and bigger tracks, I think they took a caution lap off if I recall correctly. But now it just seems like these short tracks and mile and under tracks, it seems like their caution periods are forever and a day.
As this caution is wrapping up, we're getting ready to go back racing here at Iowa. Lap 23, 2 cautions so far, and I mean, I guess it shows how tough of a track it can be that even this series we have 2 early cautions, but a lot of time left for these drivers to kind of get comfortable and get some longer green flag runs going.
The 07 didn't like losing his teammate behind him either. You know, that's a buffer when you look up and see a teammate in your mirror, you know. Even though he was running third, even on these restarts, though, traffic seen him behind him on his restart. He knew he wasn't going to get ran over. So that's a game changer as well as they're about to go green flag racing.
Yeah, Logan Sturgeon now into the top 5 after that, and the green flag is back out. Great jump from our leader, Patrick Drybick, and Joshua Sexton, Josh Oswald. That leaves the battle for second up to those two, as Oswald trying to battle back after he started I believe he started second in this race and fell back to 5th or 6th pretty early, but he's working his way back to second, and if he can complete this pass, he can try to go out for that lead.
That outside lane right there of Joshua Sexton, he got stuck on the outside, but he made it work right then. Just so much momentum on exit here if you're on the high lane. The inside guy, he's going to get you on the entry to the corner, but if you can just stay side by side like Joshua Sexton did in the 051 machine, he'll be able to clear him back on the high side. We just saw that.
Side by side back here, Jonah Colbert and Sam Wetstein as that 31 machine trying to move up through the field. Started 23rd tonight. I believe that was the driver who I thought kind of came in last second, but he's making moves. Now making a pass on Eric Santee and going to try to get that 11th spot. That would be 12 positions gained from the start of the race for that 31.
So that's 2 of your biggest movers of the race with Eric Santee and Colbert in the 31 machine. Colbert started 23rd, Eric started 22nd, and they're right now riding 11th and 12th. So kudos to the driver as Colbert actually made a pass, and my timing just now showed me that.
Sam Wetstein up to the wall. They're able to keep it off each other, though. And there goes Garrett Kinder. He's up to 14th. He started near the back. I believe he restarted at least 19th or 20th as Jamie Barkus was back there as well. He's 17th. So these drivers starting to pick apart these drivers back here. Garrett Kinder and Jamie Barkus are.
Yeah, so Jamie Barkus started 20th whenever we came back, and Garrett started right in front of him in 19th. So they both gained a little bit of ground. Garrett's gained the most ground, but I expect Jamie just to be holding tight right now. He will be up near the front, barring any incident.
Yeah. Patrick right now up to a 2/10 lead over Joshua Sexton, but Joshua behind him, he's looking pretty fast right now in that 051 Coors machine. So we'll see if he's able to get up here and take that lead away. But behind him, side by side, Jeff Paisley and Dylan Walterman for that 4th position. As old Jeff Paisley goes in too hot on the high side, he's going to scrape the wall, but that is all. He's not going to lose that position behind him. Somehow, with this new update, I've been seeing people get stuck to the wall, so he somehow got off of it and did not lose that position to Logan Sturgeon at least.
Yeah, I was really actually surprised he didn't get almost like a suction cup effect and just get sucked up to the wall. And you really lose a lot of momentum when that happens. But honestly, Zach, it looked like he may have gained momentum hitting the wall right then. He just got to hope he didn't damage the car, which I don't think he did with that type of incident right there.
Dylan Walterman now up to 4th, but Jeff Paisley trying to fight back and take that away. Josh Oswald, he's in 3rd right now, but he's under fire from that 96 machine.
That 96 machine is electing to run high in most of these corners, and that gave him such a good run down the front stretch wherever he was able to basically cross over Oswald, the Jet, and the 17 machine. But now is when the real work starts as he tries to clear him on the bottom, and I think he has him, but he's got to be careful pushing up to the wall right there. You run out of real estate really fast with the racetrack right there on exit. You got to be really careful. Sometimes you actually got to jump out of the throttle a little bit to not push up to the wall.
Really nice move from Dylan there. And if we go up to our leader, we'll see kind of what line he's running. It looks like he's also running up in that, actually the 3rd lane right now. So looks like we're starting to see some drivers migrate up to the top while others are staying on the bottom. And so that's what iRacing has really strived to do with this recent update, is so that drivers can choose to, go to whatever lane they want to.
And this is not a iRacing fest or whatever, but kudos to them because I love it. I love the new update. It gives these type tracks right here, you got way more options to race in, and you see it. Look through the field. I don't think anybody is running the same line as the guy in front of them. Joshua Sexton and the 07 of Patrick, I forgot how to pronounce the last name already. They are running in the same lane just about. But other than that, you got cars running everywhere, and that's awesome to see.
Oh, man. Jeff Paisley gets held up by Josh Oswald, and that opens the door for Logan Sturgeon, who's now moved up into the 5th position and looking to take 4th away from Josh Oswald here. And here comes the 31 of Jonah Colbert. Not able to clear the 7, though, but, man, that 31 machine there, right there in the black and red, he is looking really fast right now, up 17 spots.
He is moving, and he is moving fast. So these guys up front, they got to be watching this guy in their mirror. If they don't see him now, they're going to, because he is moving on up as he's trying to clear Jeff Paisley in the 7 machine. But Jeff in that green Rays Energy machine, he's just able to get such a good run on exit. And don't look now, but right behind him, you got the 76 of Garrett Kinder, who was involved in an earlier incident whenever he was running 2nd, and he's currently in P8.
Yep. And he's quickly getting the back bumper of Jeff Paisley, but 2 rows of side-by-side in front of him, nowhere to go unless he wants to force it 3 wide.
What do I say every week, Zach? I know you got to know right now.
He's in a
Garrett
box.
Kinder, he's in a box right now. You just can't go nowhere. He's waiting for one line to move so he can move with him. I'm glad you knew that. Good job.
As it looks like he's following that inside line, that 31 of Jonah Colbert. He's following him past these drivers, or at least is going to attempt to, because you're going to see on exit that high line gets a lot better run, but they are stacked up right now.
I think this group of cars right here is maybe just a hair faster than the 17 machine. As you actually see Josh Oswald, either he elected to go up high and let them guys by, or he got in them bumps. I did see his car bounce pretty heavy right there.
Jonah Colbert and Garrett Kinder up to 4th and 5th. Now Garrett, the driver who we followed through those turns, he's going to try to take that spot away from him now, and he gets a really nice run off the high line, and there he goes to the inside. Going to look to try to take that spot into turn 1, and he does.
Speaking about when we asked about tires, I asked you earlier if you knew if he pitted or not. So Jamie Barkus, on my timing and scoring, is currently P12, started right behind Garrett Kinder, and Garrett Kinder's P5. So I think it's almost safe to say Garrett Kinder took tires, but I wouldn't bet all my money on it. But I'd bet some of it on it probably.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that car's really fast, whether he took tires or not. I mean, he got the pole spot for a reason, and he's showing off that speed right now. But the more spots you move up, the tougher it is to pass. So he has Joshua Sexton, Dylan Walterman, and Patrick Drabick. So he's got some tough drivers to pass up there. Not to say that the drivers he has passed haven't been tough, but it doesn't matter what league you're in, what race you're in, the closer you get to the lead, the tougher it's going to be to pass.
Zach, you'll have to forgive me for this. We call so many races together that a lot of them just blend together. I'm wanting to say that Garrett Kinder had a real dominant car last week as well, and then had heartbreak at the end of the race, if I recall correctly.
I believe it was at Bristol where he was second. He had a really dominant car all night. He was in second, battling for second at the end of the race, and got wrecked, I believe, with 2 to go or on the last lap.
It was him and Joshua Sexton at 051. They kind of doored each other, just racing for the position, and ended up Garrett Kinder got the worst end of that deal. That's what I thought. I thought he had a pretty good car that night.
Well,
as he's making a move.
Yeah, he takes 3rd away from Joshua Sexton, and very quickly. So that 76 is up to the top 3, and he looks to track down Dylan Walterman and Patrick Drabick.
He is definitely not wasting any time. He might not be paid by the hour here tonight, because he's getting to these guys in front of him, and he's making moves quick, as the 31 machine of Colbert is going to fight to get by Joshua Sexton as well. I'm not sure. And he did. He cleared.
He does clear him, and he stays on that inside at least for the next couple set of turns. And he is now up 19 spots. The next biggest mover behind him is Tia Swank in P7 right now in that 66. He started 17th, so pretty good race for him so far, now inside the top 10, but you know he wants to at least get in that top 5, if not more.
Tia Swank, he's a driver we don't have to mention a whole lot, but that's because he's not in any incidents usually. But he's always moving forward, and that's what you want in these long races. It don't matter how you start, it matters how you finish. And he's slowly but surely, he's moved his way up. He may have had a bad qualifying lap. Never know what happens in qualifying, but he's made up for it so far. 47 laps into the race.
We got a lot of racing going on behind him. Jamie Barkus, he's starting to move up. He was just 12th, you mentioned. He's up to 9th now, and he's going to try to track down Jeff Paisley in 8th. So that car's starting to move forward now as we're getting longer into this run. We're getting close to lap 50, so about 20 or so laps into this run. And for most, they're still in the same set of tires they started the race out on, but I believe for Garrett Kinder, he is not. He got tires, and he's using them really well right now as he's going for second.
I mean, if he did elect to take tires, I'm going to say call the race, because this lone green flag run that's happened here. So if we get a caution pretty quick, everybody's going to pit. So he's not going to lose any track position by going and taking tires. The one thing he's lost is an extra set of tires. But with 5 sets and 150 laps, it shouldn't be an issue. But you never know, Zach, how these races go. I mean, you always want them extra tires in there if you can have them, just in case.
As we're about to reach lap 50 here at Iowa, third of the way through this race, and we're getting that much closer to the halfway mark of lap 75, and that's when we talked about it earlier. That might be when we see a couple of drivers or more come to take tires. So looking forward to seeing what decisions are made as we get closer to that halfway mark. And looks like we do have Josh Hall down the pit road right now.
Ooh, I thought we were about to have an incident between Jeff Paisley and Jamie Barks in the 69. Looked like Jeff May got a little loose underneath him, and Jamie was trying to complete the pass on the high side. I thought it was going to squeeze Jamie to the outside line, but both drivers, I think they both checked up, because it looked like both drivers' momentum fell off completely. But Jamie Barks would end up able to make the move the next corner. So yeah, Jamie Barks, if he didn't take tires, and he's showing how strong he is as well, moving up to P8. Also, I keep on calling you Zach, and I see Josh Oswald. Josh was excellent. Zach, just want to talk about the Jet real quick. Oswald, like we said, he started P2. He kind of fell back a little bit at the start, but he's currently running P10. So I wonder if that's one of them cases where he may have asked too much out of his tires too soon, because he was electing to run the bottom lane for a huge portion of this race, and then he finally started moving up. So he's running P10 right now. I think he's ready for some 4 Mr. Feelgoods.
Yeah, and sometimes you just don't have the long run speed at certain tracks. So that could be the case. And I mean, we still have a long way to go left in this race. So he'll make adjustments at least to his driving style maybe here at this track, because not many adjustments you can make when it's a fixed setup. But maybe just a few tiny adjustments on how he races the track, and might be able to handle these long runs a little better. But right now, here comes Garrett Kinder for the lead, and Jonah Colbert following him there.
These two drivers have been outstanding tonight. I know Garrett got caught up in an incident. It wasn't his fault, I don't guess. I can't put blame on either driver, really. It was just a hard racing incident happened, but boy, has he made up for it. He is currently knocking on the 07's door saying, hey, let me in. I'm ready to come take his pole position one more time.
Yeah, but he's got to be careful, because Jonah's right behind him, and if Jonah can make a pass on Garrett and then go get the lead instead of Garrett getting the lead and then trying to pass him, that would definitely be what he wants to do. But Garrett's a very tough driver to pass, so we'll see if the 31's able to do so.
It's going to take a massive run on exit. I mean, you can get there underneath him on entry, but I don't think at this point of the race with this long of a green flag run, Zach, I don't think you can make the pass underneath somebody that's that strong like Garrett Kinder is. But I'm up in the commentary booth. Usually if I say something, the opposite happens, so we will see.
As we have kind of a 3-car breakaway right now. They are all about a second and a half over Dylan Walterman. And then Dylan's about 4 seconds ahead of everybody behind him. And we have a big jumble of cars battling right now as Jamie Barkus into the top 5.
I've noticed the 07, he is kind of took Garrett Kinder's line away. He's running low in turns 1 and 2, I do believe it is. And that's where we've seen Garrett Kinder be the fastest at. He's really made his passes setting guys up coming onto the backstretch. And That's hampering Garrett Kinder in 76 just a little bit. As he's looking underneath, he just cannot build that momentum up underneath, though. And he, like you said, he's got to be careful with that 31 of Jonah Colbert right there behind him. He is a shark in the water, and he's just ready to smell blood. As soon as he smells blood, he's going to pounce, and he's going to try to be there and take second place and then start looking at taking the lead.
Yeah, Patrick's doing a really nice job right now at holding off these what could be fresher tires. And here comes Jonah for the second position, but it's just really tough to pass on that inside at this point of the race, or at the this point of the run at least. And man, Garrett gets a really nice run on Patrick, but he's just not able to make the pass. We'll see if he's able to off of turn 2. I think he's going to look to the inside. We'll see.
Patrick's in the hornet's nest right here. He can't. If you can keep one car behind you, that's hard, but it's easier than trying to keep 2 cars behind you. I mean, his mirror is full with 2 cars looking for any type of slip up for them to capitalize on any type of little mistake.
Man, we were 3 wide there for a moment, and surprisingly, well, I wouldn't say surprisingly, but it could have been very bad. And so thankfully these drivers did not reckon. Garrett, you can tell he's getting impatient, but there's only so much you can do on that bottom. If you're going to make a pass on somebody on the bottom, you pretty much need to be, I would say, at least even with them going into the turn.
Yes, and you got to hope they forgive you, because when you drive in like that, the only thing that's going to happen, even when you clear them, you're going to push up in front of them. As we see Garrett Kinder actually get a little bit loose, and he may have slapped the wall a little bit right then, Zach. I'm not sure. Not enough to hurt the car, but I think he did kind of kiss the wall right then.
These 3 cars really running away from everybody else, and Patrick Drabick doing a really nice job at holding these drivers off somehow, some way. He is doing the job right now, and if he can hold them off till at least halfway, where we might start to see some pit stops, then he can, sorry about that, he can get on more even tires to these drivers, and he might run away with it.
As we see lap traffic come into play right here for the first time tonight, Zach, this is when Garrett Kinder or 31 of Jonah, they can almost use that lap traffic as a pick, but I think they're going to get by him right here on the high lane.
That is the 9 of Mike Veith. We'll see what he does. If he gets out of the way, probably should. Yep, he's there on the bottom, but we have another one in front of him. So the more lap cars that we see, that's when it's going to get more troublesome for Patrick, because getting past 1 car is a lot easier than 2 or 3 when they're maybe side by side. And
ooh, I thought the 31 had a run right then, because the 9 car came up in front of Patrick in the 07, and he actually did. He got a good enough run to clear Garrett Kinder, but Garrett Kinder has a lot of momentum coming on the outside, and the 31 couldn't jump up in front of him. If he would have, if Garrett Kinder didn't lift right then, we're going to have a massive pile up between the top 3 guys. So, but he's cleared him now, and he's actually trying to work on the 07 machine of Patrick Drabick.
Yeah, Garrett Kinder had to check up because there was a lap car near the wall where he was trying to exit, so that slowed him down. And here comes Jonah Colbert for the lead, but just like Garrett Kinder, just not a good enough run off of the turn to kind of match that leader, or our leader, going into the next turn.
I love to see what Patrick's doing too. He's not doing any type of bad blocking. He's not even blocking these guys. He's not driving them down to the apron or nothing like that. He's strictly running his line. He's racing the racetrack. He knows where the fastest line is on the exit. He's a smart driver. That's what he's doing right now. The 31 machine's down underneath him, but he's not.
That might be a good enough run, though. Sorry to cut you off. That might be a good enough run for the 31.
He might get him right here.
Absolutely. Jonah Colbert to the lead here at Iowa.
The 31 machine started in the back of the pack, and he currently has the lead, but Patrick Drabick is not wanting to give it up as easy.
Yeah, nice run from our lead, or from previous leader, and he's going to get a nice run to his outside. Patrick Drabick not giving it up easy. He's going to battle with all he's got, and he got past, and I thought Jonah might just run away, but Patrick's doing a really nice job right now, at least holding on. But that might be all she wrote now that the 31 is clear and he's off. But he's still choosing, I'm interested, he's still choosing to run that bottom line even when he has the lead.
Notice Garrett Kinder, he got held up by 2 lap cars right there, and that's kind of why we see the separation between him and second and first right now. So I'm interested to see if the 76, if he's maybe used his tires up too much to be able to drive them guys back down. As we see the 81 machine, he's obviously on fresh rubber now. We saw him go down pit lane and makes a pass pretty easy right there.
Got Brandon Wallace and Mike Veith down pit road now, along with Gregory Sherman. So those are, they were, I think, near the more back half of the group. So I think it'll be a little while longer until we see kind of these front runners go to pit road. But once one of them do, if they're in their pit window or their fuel window, we're going to start seeing a lot more come down to pit road.
Absolutely. I think after lap 75, if they can have enough fuel, which they should, to make it to lap 75, you see somebody in the top 10 pit, I think it's going to be monkey see, monkey do. Maybe not for the top 3 because they broke away so far, they may not even know when a 10th place car pits. But once one of these top 3 pits, I think the field's coming with them.
Jamie Barkus, he's currently 5th. He's starting to close in on 4th place. Dylan Walterman just a little bit at a time. It's about a 1.3 second gap. He battled from the back as well with Garrett. Garrett Kinder sitting 3rd right now. So those two did a really nice job at battling through the pack cleanly, and they're both sitting inside that top 5 when we're getting close to green flag pit stops. And you got to think with those two, if they pit, I'm not sure again if Jamie did. Actually, I'll check real quick. So Kinder did pit, but it does not look like Barkus did. So Kinder, he's on 54 lap old tires and 54 laps of fuel. So he can stay out a little bit longer if he wants to, but tire-wise, I'm not sure if he'll want to.
Yeah, I think after about 50 laps here, you're ready for some 4 fresh tires. But if he was to stay out just say 10 extra laps, caution falls, he looks like a genius. But you never know when that next caution is going to fall, Zach. So you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot and give them guys extra time on the track with 4 fresh tires. As we hear Patrick in the 07 just hauled out, he's pitting. Jamie Barkus is electing to pit as well.
Those two are part of Jam Cook Racing. They're going to, and I guess now I can say it, those were the two that told me they would pit at halfway, and I mean right on point. Halfway, they're pitting.
Oh, we're going to have a very busy pit road. That's all you needed to see or hear was 2 people. Now watch.
Logan Sturgeon.
People were just talking over each other saying pit, pit, pit. So we're about to have a busy pit lane here.
Joshua Sexton, Josh Oswald. So yeah, a lot of drivers. We'll see if Jonah comes down. Yeah, he needs to. If you don't pit the same lap as those drivers, you need to pit the next lap if you're close to them at least. So we're seeing pretty much every single driver come down pit road. Jeff Paisley, a little slow on the outside. I wasn't sure if maybe he'd try to pit. So Jeff Paisley, Sam Wetstein, Tyler Gatsky, all still out on track along with Justin Hendry. So 4 cars have not pit. Everybody else has.
Garrett Kinder elected to pit too. I was curious to see if he pitted or not. If I was in his shoes, I was going to pit with the guys that I was around right then. But if he would have stayed out for 3 laps, maybe a caution came out, somebody trying to get on pit lane, like I said, he would look like a genius. But you just never know when that luck's going to fall your way.
Jeff Paisley on pit road along with Tyler Gatsky. That leaves Sam Wetstein to the lead in that pretty nice paint scheme there. Darth Vader, Star Wars.
So whenever I see that paint scheme, I love that paint scheme. I told Sam like 5 times now, I love that paint scheme. I think of Star Wars because of the hood, but then when I look at the side of it, I think of the Saw movies for whatever reason. I'm not sure why, but I think of the Saw movies. And, man, that paint scheme's awesome.
Looks like he and Justin Hendry are going to try to stay out there as long as they can and hope for a caution.
I don't dislike the thought of it, you know. I mean, if you're not going to win the race on sheer speed, because something like that may happen right there, Zach.
Caution is out. But
something like that.
That keeps Garrett Kinder and Jonah Colbert had actually Patrick Drabick, he had the best pit stop. He came out ahead of Jonah Colbert. So Patrick, Jonah, and Garrett all on the lead lap, but Jamie Barkus and everyone behind him are a lap down. So they might stay out because they just took fresh tires,
right.
But that doesn't matter. They're going to have to go to the back of the field. Well,
but that's gonna keep the rest of these cars from getting a wave around, correct? Because They're not going to pit right here. Patrick, Jonah, and Garrett
Yeah,
have
that's
no
true.
reason to pit right here.
That's true.
So, them guys behind them, if Garrett, Jonah, and Patrick was not back on the lead lap, all these cars would get a wave around. But since Jonah, Patrick, and Garrett got back on the lead lap, that's going to keep the rest of these cars trapped one lap down.
Yeah, Jamie Barkus is gonna get that free pass, or actually he's gonna get the wave around. So Tia Swank, Jamie Barkus gets the free pass, and Tia Swank is a lap down, but in front of the leaders, so he will be able to get his lap back. So that'll be 7 cars on the lead lap. It looks. Actually, no, I apologize. Never mind. Okay, I apologize. I was looking at it wrong. So it looks like up to 13th place will get their lap back on the wave around here.
Yep, for being in front of the next lead lap car, in between the next lead lap car and the pace car, correct? If you're looking at the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah, the first lead lap car, which is Justin Hendry, and then everybody in front of him will get that wave around, and anybody who's stuck behind will go back to the end of the field. So I'm really surprised. Justin Hendry, he stayed out there with Sam, and he's still choosing not to pit unless he pit when I didn't know he did. He pit 25 laps ago.
I think somebody needs to phone them guys and say I'd go ahead and get my service done, because I mean, I know I said that an accident could happen coming down pit lane. I can't believe it actually happened. That's what happened. I heard a driver apologize, said he got on the brakes and just lost it. That is a risk you take for green flag pit stops, because we talk about it all the time, Zach. You got to come in as fast as you can, because you don't want to leave any time out on the track. Meaning, when you're trying to come in under green flag pit stops, you can't just come in all willy-nilly. You got to come in at speed, and accidents can happen, and it just did.
Yeah, and I will say, I raced A fixed earlier, and it looks like you can lock up the brakes a lot easier, because I ran A fixed and I was in second, and I went to pit under caution, and I locked up my tires coming in, and so it seems like they've made it easier to lock up your tires, and maybe that's what happened. He locked up his tires coming to the pit road and spun it around.
I'm not sure who it was that said it, Zach, but I was so excited trying to figure out the wave around situation and stuff like that. But I for sure heard hit my mic. I for sure heard a driver mention sorry for causing that. I was trying to get on pit lane. But man, oh man, that really shakes up things here. It's not gonna trap as many drivers as I thought a lap down, but Josh Oswald started P2, trapped a lap down. Jeff Paisley started P5, trapped a lap down. So I mean, man, oh man, that throws a monkey wrench into this race right here.
Absolutely. Justin Hendry's going to lead us back to the green now with Patrick Drebick, Jonah Colbert, Garrett Kinder, and Sam Wetstein behind him in 5th, and then start the chain of cars who got either the free pass or the wave around, or are going to get the wave around anyways. So, man, I mean, yeah, that really just shakes a lot of things up here in this race. You don't always expect it to happen, but it can come out of nowhere, these cautions during green flag pit stops. And that's why, Justin Hendry, he pit 25 laps ago, so there was a reason he was still out there. But Sam Wetstein, there was I can't remember who says it in NASCAR on Fox, but he says, if you follow the leader to pit road, you're going to follow the leader all race long. And so Sam did something different. And, I mean, he's now in P5 because obviously he had to go down and get 4 fresh tires. But that puts him in a lot better position than he was before that caution came out.
Absolutely. I mentioned it every race. If you can't match the leader's pace, beat him with your mind. And Sam's doing that. We're going green flag racing again. Man, that was exciting.
Justin Hendry, your control car, can go whenever he wants, and he is off. The green flag is out, but he is on 25 lap older tires. So I think we're going to see those fresher tires behind him make pretty quick work of the lead.
Yeah, I think in hindsight he's going to look back at this and think he should have pitted. But like we said, try something different. He's trying it now. the 07 machine, the 31, the 76, they have been our front runners for the last portion of that green flag run, and it don't look like anything's changing now, Zach.
Absolutely not. I mean, these three looked really strong on that last run, and they start this next one out just the same, battling each other for that lead. And Garrett Kinder right now on the outside of Jonah Colbert, and he's able to successfully make that pass.
Sorry for interrupting you.
No, you're good.
Pounded the outside wall, and there was 2 cars on his inside. They were 3 wide. I thought we were for sure going to have a caution. Man, I saw cars scattering everywhere. I thought Sam was actually going to get a part of it.
Actually a spinner on the front stretch, but looks like they saved it. You see that right side of Jeff Paisley pretty messed up. There was a driver spun around. Maybe, I can't tell who that was. It might have been, yeah, Mike Veith. But he's back going. Sam Whitestein here in P4. I mean, he was outside the top 10, and now he's inside the top 5. So take a chance, and it might work out sometimes. It's Jeff Paisley to the inside of Justin Hendry now.
Now, Jeff Paisley got into the wall earlier, too, and I said I didn't think the damage would affect him. But, Zach, I wouldn't be surprised if he has some toe-in issues or something with the front suspension because, I mean, he hit that wall and got airborne. I don't know how he didn't get a caution. The guys around him saw it happen, and I just saw like 6, 7 cars just scatter.
So I don't know if it's showing for you, too, but it's showing Jeff Paisley a lap down for me.
Yes, he's 1 lap down running P15.
Okay.
And then the next guy lap down on my screen is the Jet Oswald, and he's currently in front of Sam, so he is in a lucky dog spot if a caution was to fall.
Yep. That is the race for your free pass position is Josh Oswald and Jeff Paisley, both on the front stretch there. You can see Josh Oswald obviously has that position as of now, but that can change. We're down to 60 laps to go now here at Iowa Speedway. Patrick Drabick, your leader, and has led a lot of this race. And even on older tires than Garrett Kinder, was able to hold him off. Wasn't able to hold off Jonah Colbert as the run went on, but now that we're on even tires, I mean, we're seeing the speed of that 07 car.
Yes, he's opened up to, it's probably over a second now. My stuff lags behind a little bit, but he's got a pretty significant gap in between him and the 76 machine of Garrett Kinder.
Garrett Kinder, your pole sitter, currently sitting in second, just 1 spot short of where he wants to be, obviously.
I want to say kudos to Sam Whitestein in the 98 machine, Zach. I mean, he's a driver. He comes out here, he races to have fun. He don't get in nobody's way. He don't cause no accident. And he is currently sitting P4 on the board right now. So kudos to him in the 98 machine. That Darth Vader is looking really good.
Yeah, I mean, he's holding off Jamie Barkas right now. He has, like you last week, I'm struggling a bit to remember. So Jamie Barkas has 2 wins on the season. So right now he's doing a really nice job at holding his 4th position over our 2-time winner, Jamie Barkas. So you get lucky sometimes, and then you take advantage of that luckiness. And he is right now. He's holding up that pace in P4, and we'll see as this run goes on if he's able to advance that position anymore. But there's Josh Oswald. He's getting pretty close. He's not up to our leaders yet, but Oswald's getting a little close to maybe getting his lap back the old-fashioned way.
And Oswald has speed. We saw it. He qualified P2 for a reason. He definitely has speed. I think he may have asked too much out of his tires that first run. That's why we saw him fall back. But the Jet, they call him the Jet for a reason. He's really, really fast, and I'm sure after that first, we'll call it stage of green flag run, because it was like a stage. It was, 70-something laps it felt like, and he's learned a lot about the track now.
Garrett Kinder and Jonah Colbert once again battling for that 2nd position. They've been battling basically all race long since Garrett Kinder had to go to the back after that wreck early on. We'll move throughout the pack here. Jesse Nekula currently battling Justin Hendry. He just passed him. Justin Hendry, who stayed out, he's back to 10th and about to fall to 11th. Actually, no, that's a lap car. Dylan Walterman behind him is P11. So he has a little bit of a buffer there, but falling back on those 25-lap older tires.
You know, Zach, if there was only like 2 tires in the pits, this call could be great, because then he would have extra set of tires. But that 25 lap old tires, I knew there'd be a fall off. I didn't think it would be this big though, honestly, at Iowa. But I mean, it goes to show how much the pace is that much greater on 4 fresh tires.
As here comes Dylan Walterman to the outside of the 85 and should, going into turn 1, make that pass. Or at least out of 2. And he does.
Sound like you're getting text messages over there, Zach. And Garrett Kinder, last 2 laps by us, last 3 laps now, has been faster than our race leader, Patrick Drybick in 07.
Like, these headphones are so loud in my ears right now, I couldn't even hear that. Yeah, Patrick right now up to an 8/10 lead over Garrett Kinder. And Garrett has started to distance himself between, make that gap a little bit larger over Jonah Colbert. But just like last run, I mean, this top 3 now 2 seconds ahead of 4th place. I mean, these 3 are just really fast here right now.
I've noticed Jamie Barks in the 69 machine. He is still behind the 98 of Sam Westline. So Sam's showing some real speed here tonight, man, and that's awesome to see. Awesome.
Yeah, it looks like Josh Oswald just maybe struggles on the long run here tonight. I mean, he was ahead of Sam Wetstein earlier, and now he's fallen back behind Jamie Barkus. So it seems like that car is just not handling the way he wants it to on the long run.
You're right. I heard Josh come over the radio just a while ago, a few laps ago. He said, Sam, go ahead and pass me. You're on the lead lap. And I think that opened the door for Jamie too, but you hit on it. He was in front of him, and now he's losing a little bit of pace to him too. So I think on the long run, there's something not gelling with him on this setup. And I mean, that happens with a fixed setup. A fixed setup race, yes, everybody's on the same setup, but that don't mean everybody's going to love the setup.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you watch the NASCAR Pro Invitationals last year during, the heavy set of the pandemic, you saw guys like Timmy Hill beating NASCAR, 30, 40 race winners, Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, all those drivers. I mean, he was just dusting. I mean, he was just way faster than they were on a fixed setup. And that just shows that these NASCAR drivers, well, I'm not saying they're not fast drivers, but they really are accustomed to building setups to how they drive. And when you put all these drivers on a fixed setup and not caring about how they drive, some are just not going to like it. If you like to drive a loose race car and it's a tight race car, well, then you might not be able to adjust. So that can be the trickiness about fixed racing, as the 31 of Jonah Colbert coming right back for that second position.
Just to hit on fixed racing, yeah, I think 1 or 2 fixed races, like an 8-race season, that's not really, I mean, that's hard to gauge your best driver. But with a big season like what we got here with the original Rebels Xfinity Series, I mean, they got a lot of races in here. So I think the cream's going to rise to the top no matter what when you have that many races and you got playoffs to go through. So Josh has had a really good, strong season so far. I'm not able to see the points right now, but I know just from the eye test he's been strong all season. So this is a one-off race for him. Long run, it's not gelling with him, but I think he'll be back next week for sure.
As the battle for second is still on, as Josh Hall is down pit road. I'm not sure we'll see any more pit stops tonight, though, if it goes all the way green. But right now, Garrett Kinder doing a really nice job at holding off Jonah Colbert there in the 31. Jamie Barkus has made his way into 4th over Sam Wetstein.
This 76 and 31 machine, they have been glued together all night. Ever since Garrett Kinder, like you mentioned earlier, ever since Garrett went to the back due to that incident earlier on in the race, him and his 31 machine, as Jonah Colbert, have been neck and neck. And that's awesome. I mean, that shows their pace is so similar, Zach, where they keep finding each other on the track.
I'll do this specifically for Logan Sturgeon. He wanted me to show off the paint scheme, so I'm showing it off. You can't even see it, so it's okay.
I'm trying to read what it says. When I'm doing the shared screen on your end, it's a little bit blurrier than how it is on. on that, but never turned down a fatty. I think's what it says. If I
That's
recall
okay.
correctly.
I don't care. It's just the
It's the picture.
it's
I understand.
not even the picture. It's what's on the top of that, or the kind of the trunk lid of that car is what
Now I'm
we
intrigued.
should not be seeing.
Now I'm intrigued. Now I gotta go look. Let's see if I can get a camera shot. Give you a live reaction here whenever I get it.
Oh man. As
Well, I
we're-
can see the hood chubby chasers, but unless I go in and alter the camera angle, I can't really see what it says.
We're down
And that's
to
probably for the best.
we're down to 40 laps to go here at Iowa Speedway, and I mean, I kind of said it at the beginning when we had 2 early cautions. Eventually, they would get a little more comfortable and settle in, and they really have.
Yeah, you're seeing these drivers that just, like I mentioned earlier, they're just single file now, clicking off laps. Occasionally, you see somebody make a pass if they're just a little bit faster, but Iowa, even though it is a short track, it is hard to pass here. I mean, we saw it all race. Somebody gets on a high line like Patrick Drabick did in the 07 machine earlier. 31 and 76, I think they were a tick faster than him. But with him running a high line, they was never able to get around him.
And while we're kind of on this longer green flag run, I'll take a quick second to tell y'all if you're interested in more racing tonight, we got more racing here on Rebels Racing Network. After this race concludes, we'll have about, well, actually, the race starts at 11. I won't even say how long the break will be. After the end of this race, we'll go off of live, but then at 11 p.m. Eastern, we'll be back for the new Magic Manzo ARCA series that'll be debuting at Daytona tonight for 40 laps. So if you want to see some more racing, make sure to
the
tune
night car.
Yeah, I saw that. Make sure to tune in to that at 11 p.m. And yeah, that the 9 of Mike Veith, heavy contact to the wall.
Sorry, Zach. I thought the 07 was going to be a sitting duck right then, but yes, ARCA series running tonight at 11 Eastern is the scheduled start time, 10 Central.
Yes, sir.
I was actually going to race in that race, Zach, but there's a 2,000 I rating limit, so we're not able to race in it tonight, unfortunately. Are you calling action live there too?
Yes, sir. And,
boy, oh boy, you're breaking that new mic in.
Jamie Barkus is going to be joining me in the broadcast booth for that, running 4th right now.
That's awesome. So maybe we can get him in a good mood, get him in the podium, and he'll be perked up and ready for you.
Hopefully.
I enjoy. I mean, we got this long green flag run. Not to take away from these guys. I enjoy racing. I love it. But there's something special about being up in a booth, and I love doing that too. I look forward to Friday nights calling these races. There's some times where I'd like to be out there racing, like Iowa, for sure, or Bristol. But I do. I love getting in here calling these races with you.
Tanner, don't look now. 3/10 lead over Garrett Kinder now. He is coming.
I mean, he is coming fast, really fast. He is there now. I didn't even notice it. I checked lap times earlier, but I did not notice it was that big of a gap on time difference. But yes, Garrett Kinder, the last 4 laps have been quicker than the 07 machine.
He's been catching him for a while now, but that lap car hurt Drabick on the exit of the turn 2, and that's when Kinder really closed in. We'll see if he's able to continue that momentum as he still has 33 laps to try to catch and pass our leader, Patrick Drabick.
I wonder if we're going to see kind of a repeat, deja vu from earlier, Zach, with that long green flag run that we saw the 31 and the 76 get up to the 07. Granted, they were on a little bit fresher tires, but, I mean, we're seeing it right now. The 76 is already, he's ran down Patrick in the 07 machine. He just, now he's got to climb the mountain of getting around him.
Yeah, the 31 of Jonah Colbert, not as strong this run, but he is still in that top 3, 2 seconds ahead of Jamie Barkus. So just because he's not up with these top 2 right now, don't mistake that for he's not fast, because he absolutely is right now. Just these front 2 maybe looking a little faster right now, but he is only a second back. So this race isn't over for him either in terms of the lead.
So they both have cut the gap to Drabick in the 07 down from what it was. I know the 31 was at like a 1.8 the last time I looked, but I'm seeing Garrett Kinder, Zach, he's getting loose on these exits. I keep seeing that back end wanting to step out on him. And I've noticed he's moving up closer and closer to that wall. He's searching for any bit of grip he can find out there.
If you're going to run up next to that wall, you definitely want a looser race car. So, not too loose, but you do want a looser race car, because if it's tight and you try to get up next to that wall, you're most likely just going to hit it. So, that's why at tracks like Homestead, if a car's too tight and they're trying to run next to the wall, you're going to see those cars struggle. So just because you're able to enter the turn a little bit faster next to the wall if you're loose, because it's a little bit easier to keep off of the wall. So Kinder, he likes to drive off of that right rear tire, and it looks like he is tonight. Like you said, he's been getting loose out of these turns, but man, Drabick just really consistent right now, and he's starting to pull a little bit away once again, and actually a second and a half over Jonah Colbert, which it was just a second. So maybe Patrick just throttled down a little bit, taking it easy, and maybe a little too easy.
And I mean, we saw the 9 car plow the wall right in front of him. I thought the 07 machine was done for them. I thought the 9 was going to get pinballed off and into him, and then he got caught up in another lap traffic. So I think that lap traffic really helped Garrett. That slowed 07. It slowed his momentum down quite a bit. I mean, we saw it. We saw Garrett Kinder. He fished him in. He reeled him in, as I'd say. But now he's slowly not pulling away from Garrett, I'd say, but he is pulling a little bit away from him, I guess.
Yeah, as he's starting to get through some lap traffic, and that'll hurt that lead just a little bit. We'll maybe move through the field a little bit. Sam Wetstein, he's done a nice job at maintaining that top 5. He's currently at 1.8 seconds in front of Logan Sturgeon. So, I mean, you want to get a win always, but I think you got to think that he's thinking to himself, you know what, let's just go green the rest of the way. I'd be just fine with finishing P5.
Absolutely. I mean, with a league this competitive, coming in here and getting the top 5, I mean, that feels like a win to anybody, you know. And even for the guys that win all the time, we heard Jamie Barker say when he finished second, he said he was just happy to finish podium. So, I mean, this league is super, super competitive. Yes, we've had repeat winners, but you have about 5 to 6 guys each and every week that can contend and do contend for a win.
Yeah, we'll go through your top 10 real quick. Obviously, your leader, Patrick Drabick, with Garrett Kinder running right behind him, as these two are 8/10 ahead of third place, Jonah Colbert.
Zach, I hate to interrupt you, sorry, but 051 Josh Sexton just came across the radio and said he was pitting. So I don't know about that call, but we may start seeing drivers elect to pit.
I just think this is he was in 10th place, I believe, and that is the last lead lap position. So maybe he's just trying to do something different, like we saw earlier. So we'll see if that works out. Jonah Colbert, your third place driver right now. Jamie Barkas, he has 2 wins on the season, looking for 3 tonight, but right now, if he can even finish 4th, it would still be a good result for him. Sam Wetstein, we just pointed out, he's in 5th position. Logan Sturgeon, he's in P6. He started this race 7th. 29 of Jesse Necula running in P7 right now. He started 8th. Tia Swank of the 66 Ford Mustang started this race P17, and he's up to the 8th position. So a nice run by him. Dylan Walterman started this race in the 9th position, and he's running there. So a nice, consistent top 10 run by the 96. And then Josh Oswald is now in the 10th position after Joshua Sexton had to pit for whatever reason.
Yeah, and I'm going through the cockpit view, just going through the field, and I've noticed, man, the off-throttle time now, Zach, is remarkable. I mean, it is crazy when you're inside these cars. It feels like they are almost coming to a stop on corners, in the corners.
Hey, you see my cockpits fixed?
Awesome. Yeah, that looks a lot better. I mean, that last time looked like we was on 1005 field of view.
Yeah, right.
I think we were sitting in the trunk the last time.
Yeah, I mean, he's just really slow in that third lane, and that's not me calling him slow. That's just how slow you got to get that car down to make the turn.
And he's also modulating the throttle a little bit, too. He's not just getting back on the throttle. He'll gun it a little bit, get out of it, get back in it, get out of it, and get back in it again. That showed, I mean, fast is not always keep your foot to the floor. If you do that, you're going to burn your equipment up really fast, and you're going to end up finding that wall, and you're going to meet it a couple times probably.
You absolutely can't keep your foot to the floor here, that's for sure.
Right. You gotta drive it with some care.
Man, we're down to 18 laps to go already here at Iowa through a 150 lap race, and we are already down to the money making time, I used to call it, for whoever's going to win tonight's race. And just like that unpredictable caution under green flag pit stops we had earlier, you never know in the 17 closing laps we have when a caution could come out.
Our leader in 07, he's asking right now, please, everybody keep all wheels and cars pointed straight, and let's just finish this thing. But, man, it's remarkable seeing the off-throttle time. Jeff Paisley in the 7 machine actually just manually disconnected. I think he caught it early night. He was running P16, I think, at the time.
Man, I know I pointed it out before, but I think it's worth pointing out again. This top three, I mean, there's no mistake on who the three fastest cars that we've had tonight are. That's Patrick Drabick, Garrett Kinder, and Jonah Colbert. I mean, they are all within a second and a half of each other, and Jonah Colbert himself is 3 seconds ahead of Jamie Barkus in fourth. So, I mean, no mistaking who the three fastest cars are tonight.
And that's saying a whole lot for Garrett Kinder and Jonah Colbert, because they were at the bottom of the mountain earlier. They were at the very back of the field, and they had a huge mountain to climb, and they've done it. I mean, they're back up here. Garrett Kinder was up here already once.
Oh, boy.
Got involved in a wreck. Ooh, in 07, did he get into the wall right then?
He did not, but he had to slow down a lot not to hit it, and that's going to help Garrett Kinder get a lot closer here with 14 to go.
Ooh, he got a big momentum run on him right then. Yeah, the 07 just had, like I hit on earlier, sometimes you have to lift out completely on exit. You never want to do that because it's going to kill your momentum down the straight stretch.
Man, he's leaving that high side open. If Garrett Kinder's able to get to it, I think that's night over for our leader, but we'll see. We've seen that 07 battle really hard and keep the lead in dire circumstances. Here goes Garrett Kinder to the outside. Can he get a good enough run off of turn 2 to match that 07 car down the backstretch, still side by side? The 07 might, no, he's not going to get a good enough run on entry at least. And, man, if Garrett Kinder can stay consistent here, he's going to wear that 07 out and take the lead here late.
And we have a lap traffic right there. Yeah, Patrick Drabick had no other choice but to give up right there because he had lap traffic blocking in his lane. Man, that's a tough break for the 07. He's going to try to run him back down, but this has opened the door for the 31 machine, Zach. 31 machine is slowly creeping up to him as these boys start to race side by side.
This race is so far from over with still so little laps to go. I mean, 12 laps to go, you'd think, man, we're really close to the end. But for whoever's leading the race, it is not a fast 12 laps. So any of these three drivers, I mean, you saw Patrick Drabick looked really good there for a long time, and then one little slip-up cost him. So Garrett Kinder has to keep that in mind, that one little slip-up can still cost him the lead, and he needs to be careful.
That's what blows my mind. I mean, we saw one tiny mistake. He didn't even touch the wall, Zach. You called it that he didn't even touch the wall, but look what happened. He's lost the lead, and now I think he has a 31 knocking on his door.
Yeah, Jonah Colbert trying to make a pass for the second position and be there just in case Garrett Kinder does make a mistake. But, man, that's heartbreaking. Patrick has led so many laps tonight, but unfortunately just could not hold on late. And Garrett Kinder, he's starting to pull away now.
As the 31 machine pulls right up to the 07. I know we've talked about these guys a lot tonight, but, man, they have put on a show all night tonight, Zach.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, coming into these Xfinity races every single week, you know that these drivers are going to put on a show. They just continuously do it, whether it was at iRacing Super Speedway, Rockingham, at the Milwaukee Mile, Bristol, all these tough tracks, and they still put on great shows. And this track may not be as difficult as Milwaukee or Rockingham, but it is difficult, as you're seeing. Patrick Drabick hit the wall there, actually, And Jonah Colbert's going to be able to take advantage of that and get P2. But this isn't as difficult as those tracks, but it is a difficult track, and they put on a great show tonight.
Especially with these long green flag runs that we've had here tonight. I mean, take this track difficulty and multiply it by 10 whenever you get out here on 60, 70 lap old tires. I mean, we're seeing it. 07, I can say he's one of the best drivers out here, and that's no knock to anybody else. We've just seen it each and every week, and he's struggling right now. We've seen him hit the wall once and almost hit the wall again. So, I mean, that shows the difficulty out here right now.
I will say, and there's no bias in this, but Garrett Kinder, you know, he's had such bad luck in these cars that I'm kind of holding my breath for him with 6 laps to go. I just, with his luck, if I were in that car, I'd be anticipating a caution just because, I mean, you know, Chase Elliott says it all the time. Whenever he's leading at the end of a race, he's already preparing his mind for a restart just because he expects a caution that much. So I know Garrett Kinder's sitting in that car right now expecting one, but we'll see if we get one or not.
As we're now under 5 laps to go, Zach, man, oh man, this race has went fast to us, but I can promise you, Garrett Kinder, it's time's standing still right now.
Absolutely. Down to 4 laps to go here at Iowa. I can say that when I practiced with him here in the trucks, he said this was one of, if not his most favorite tracks. And so not a surprise to see him fast here tonight, but man, ever since he got that lead and out of the dirty air, he has ran away by 8/10 over Jonah Colbert.
I meant to ask you about that earlier, if dirty air played a factor here. I couldn't remember back whenever I'd done this race.
Yeah, if you're stuck behind somebody in these cars, really at any track, that dirty air is going to hurt you. And, I mean, we were kind of seeing it. Garrett Kinder was not able to get close enough for a long time to Patrick to pass him. But once he finally passed him, he's 2.3 seconds ahead of him and around 8 to 9 tenths ahead of Jonah Colbert. So that car is showing a lot of strength right now, and he's got to get around this track one more time in order for a caution not to mess this up for him.
Just looking through the field right now for a heads up on everybody else. I've been watching Logan, the fish sturgeon, in the 26 machine. He's kind of gotten up to Sam Whiteside in the 98 machine. So they're fighting for P5 here if Logan's able to get around him, but I don't know he has enough time to get there.
Yeah, and there's Jesse Necula as well sitting back there in 7th. But right now, Garrett Kinder, the white flag is out. The next flag is going to end it here at Iowa. As Garrett Kinder down the back stretch for the final time. What a race from Garrett Kinder. Patience. His patience tonight really showed. He sat behind Patrick Trapick for a long part of this race, but with 15 laps to go, he took the lead, and he wins here at Iowa Speedway.
How many people can get on here and say, hey, I did a spin and win? He spun tonight, Zach, and won it. Went to the back, not by choice, but he won it. Kudos to the 76 Garrett Kinder. The bad luck is now off your back, buddy. You are a winner in the original Rebels Xfinity Series. Congratulations.
Yeah, and he's sitting 3rd in points right now behind Jamie Barkus, and maybe with some of the bonus points he might have gotten tonight, that might put him a lot closer to that P2 battle. But I don't even think he's focused on the points right now. He's just happy to do some burnouts here at Iowa Speedway.
Yes, sir. I hope he burns it down. He's earned it here tonight.
I got to say, ladies and gentlemen, this is not an easy way to burn it down. I will tell you that. You got to somehow keep that car going and somehow keep those rear tires spinning that much to burn them down. So, not the usual burnout you see, but it's a great one still.
Yeah, those style burnouts right there. I mean, I don't think the burnouts are really hard on iRacing, but to drift along like that, keep the power without seeing the car do that right there, it is pretty difficult.
I think we're going to see that that motor blow before he ends, and I think there it goes. Oh, is it not going to blow up? Okay, I guess he stopped it before it blew up.
It's the commentary, not curse, but just the whatever we say, the opposite's going to happen. I don't care. 9 times out of 10.
Oh man, what a race! We're going to get Garrett Kinder in here now. I know he's going to be as happy as could be. Hey, Garrett, Zach and Tanner in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Man, so you see Patrick get loose there with around, I think, 14 or 15 to go, and I could see you kind of smell blood in the water. Did you expect to get around him? Because I know that it was really tough to pass tonight, just from what it looked like.
Very difficult to pass. I set it up like maybe a half a lap before, maybe a full lap. I can't exactly remember. Or I just hung on his outside, and I knew because he and I were running very similar lines, low through 1 and 2, high through 3 and 4. And I knew if I could stay on his high side and get through 3 and 4, I could get around him. But man, I got to give props to the 07 Patrick. I think it was the 31 that was up there with us. Yeah, Jonah Colbert. Those guys, man, just absolutely a blast to race around. Everybody raced clean. It was a fun time.
Garrett, buddy, I mean, it's hard to be unbiased in the booth. I mean, but Zach mentioned it, and I didn't want to mention it with him, but secretly we're pulling for you up here because you have had bad luck. I mean, well, I mentioned it right after you took cross the checker flag across the line tonight. I said not very many people on here can say they spin and win, and you had that happen here tonight. When you got pushed back into the back of the pack like that, did you honestly think you could muster your way back up to the front as quick and the way you did cleanly?
So the only reason that worked out is pit strategy. I came in after that spin and took tires because I absolutely burned them off trying to save it, and it didn't work out. And I was able to drive back through the field because we were only like 20 laps in at that point, or heck, it was less than that. I think it was like 12, and it wasn't very many laps. So I was able to drive up, and I think I got back to third or fourth place. And that full green flag run, which I got to give credit to all the guys that raced tonight, clean racing, had long green flag runs. It was a beautiful thing to see. If it wasn't for that long green flag run, basically canceling out that cycle, I wouldn't have had a chance. So I didn't think I had a chance just because Iowa it's a slicks. I'm gonna slide up a track, but man, it was fun.
I mean, bravo, buddy. I mean, that was awesome watching you go from the back, go from the front to the back, then back to the front, and then battle your way up and get the pass at a track that's hard to pass. And you passed the '07 machine of Patrick, and he has showed how fast he is, not only the other races, but tonight by leading as many laps as he did. So, congratulations, Garrett, on your win. Celebrate tonight, buddy. You got any sponsors or shout outs you want to throw out here?
Of course, thank y'all. Open the booth. Y'all always do a great job. I'll be watching it back either tonight or first thing in the morning. Thank everybody over at Reaper Racing, Full Send Racing, of course, our host league, Original Rebels Racing League. I say it every time I talk to y'all guys. These guys are the best guys in the world to race around. Just respectful and clean, but they're not afraid to just race the absolute piss out of you, and it's fun. And I got to give a shout out, I guess, to you, Tanner, for keeping your mouth shut till I cross the checkered flag.
Right, yeah, no bad luck tonight. No bad luck. No commentary curse tonight.
I appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. I wanted to. You were my driver to watch, but I could never throw it out because I've already mentioned it once, and bad luck happened. So we were secretly rooting for you in the booth tonight because of all the bad luck, Garrett.
Well, thank y'all guys. Y'all have a good night now.
You too.
You too, buddy. Congratulations.
Thank y'all.
All right. Jonah Colbert. I mean, he started 23rd and he finishes second. So another driver who really moved through the field. Not sure if he's in the Discord though. So I guess if you could work on that maybe, and we'll get third place in here, Patrick Drebick, and we'll see if we can buy enough time for our second place finisher.
10-4.
All right, Patrick Drebick. Hey, Patrick, Zach, and Tanner in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, unfortunately, I mean, you led so many laps, but unfortunately, it just didn't work out there for you in the end. But you were able to maintain the top three. Another great run from you, and I think both of you and Jam Cook. Explain to us, I guess, how tough was it on older tires? Because we saw 25 lap old tires with Justin Hendry, and I mean, he fell like a rock.
Yeah, the tires made a big difference there. In that first long run we had, Garrett and Jonah both had newer tires than me, and eventually caught up to me, even though I had to come through the field and went by me. And they a huge factor. But luckily, we had some long green flag runs there, so that made it a little bit more exciting, and it was a ton of fun racing with those guys up front.
You know, Patrick, I was trying to get Jonah in here to the Discord to get him in an interview. I didn't even really get to hear what Zach said, so it's hard for me to ask you a question other than you led all them laps tonight. You've been a front runner this entire season. I know it's heartbreak to finish second, but man, you did a marvelous job tonight finishing second. I know you had the most dominant car all night. I mean, that's just the way it is. I think lap traffic kind of hurt you at the end. I mean, it did. We saw the 9 car get into the wall, and I called it over in the booth. I thought you were a goner. I thought that was going to end your night. And I'm sure. Hey, what were you thinking? That would be my question. What was you thinking when you see lap traffic just pancake the wall like that right in front of you?
Yeah, it was a little interesting a couple different times, and really, lap traffic did play a big factor into it. I lost quite a bit of my lead on a couple different occasions. Just getting caught up with lap traffic, catching them at a bad time, or whatever the case may be. I think that one right there cost me half a second.
It
And
did.
yep. And really, when we came off at 2, he was about a lane down, so I thought he was going to give me the outside because that was the line I was running. Now, I will take some fault. I probably should have come over race comms and let him know, hey, I'm going to take the outside, but that's where I thought he was going to let me go, and then he just slides up and slaps the wall, and I'm not going to lie, Tanner, it made my butt pucker a little bit for sure.
Right.
Uh, but I guess I had my shamrock on the dash this evening or whatever, and I was able to get by it. But yeah, you know, yeah, it was a lot of fun leading those laps, and I really thought I was taking this '07 G to G trailer car into victory lane, but lap traffic played into it and allowed Garrett to get to me, and when he did, he was gone.
I mean, it's disappointing not to win. I run these leagues 5 other nights out of the week. I'm just a commentator here and on Tuesdays. So I mean, I totally feel your pain right now because you want to win anytime you get a chance. They're so hard to come by. So I understand it, but still, marvelous job. Podium finish tonight, second place. Great points finish. I heard you mention G2GTrailers.com. You got any other sponsors or shout outs you want to throw out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Travis Lee Creative, veteran-owned business. He does all our graphics and logo works phenomenal. And Tracks for Vets, the organization that I'm privileged to be a part of, and we go out there and we work with disabled veterans and get them back into the outdoors, and we take them on fishing and hunting excursions. And it's just awesome to be a part of the veteran community and to be able to give back and to represent those organizations on my car. And as always, hell of a shout out to the Rebels League, Logan for putting this thing on, you guys for announcing. It is an absolute blast, and I look forward to every Friday night.
I tell you, hearing those sponsors, I mean, hearing what you just said, that's bigger than racing, Patrick. That's way bigger than iRacing. That's way bigger than anything else in life. So I applaud you for that, and thank you for that. Thank you for what you did, and thank you for the show tonight.
All
God
right,
bless
brother
you.
man.
In a second, buddy.
All right, thank you.
All right, and Jonah Colbert has found his way into the waiting room, so we'll now get him in here. Like I mentioned, 23rd to 2nd tonight.
Yeah, I mean, marvelous run tonight, dude. Marvelous.
Hey, Jonah, Zach, and Tanner in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Man, fantastic run for you tonight. We just mentioned 23rd to 2nd here tonight. That's kind of self-explanatory when you say that in terms of how good of a race you had. Take us through how you were able to be really strong and make your way through the field.
Iowa is one of my favorite tracks. It's one of those. It's kind of a multi-groove track, and it's really fun to get down on that low line and try to pick up speed early off the corner. I got into the race late, so I didn't have a chance to qualify. I had some technical issues, but I was just patient and bide my time and save those tires. And then with the cautions coming out when they did, I got lucky with tire strategy, and it put me up front. So it was a good run.
Hey, before you go ahead, Tanner, I will say I saw you come in late, and I was like, I'm not sure if he's gonna race. I'm glad you did. You put on a heck of a show.
Yeah, I actually forgot about it, and then I had some technical issues, but I was glad I was able to make it. It's a fun group of guys to run with.
Man, y'all put on a show, Jonah. I mean, that 31 machine, it was a rocket ship tonight. I know you didn't get the race win, but man, oh man, I mean, watching you come from the back to the front, and you did it without having a scrape or a mark on your car. So kudos to you for that. Uh, And I hear you say luck on the tire strategy, but I mean, that first run you took tires and stuff like that. Was you expecting coming into the long run like that? Did you think you was gonna have the speed to match the '07 and Garrett Kinder and the '76?
On long runs, I wasn't sure how fast those guys were being my first race here. So, but typically I'm more of a conservative driver anyways on long runs. And so, like I said, Iowa being one of my favorite tracks, it was, you know, everything kind of fell into place and the stars aligned for me to be able to get the long run, and that helped me out a lot. So,
You know, Zach and John, I wish NASCAR had a little birdie listening to us. We've all said Iowa's one of our favorite tracks and can't get it on the Cup schedule. But all from that right there, Jonah and the 31 machine, man, marvelous job tonight. Way to run a clean race. You and Garrett Kinder, it didn't matter if y'all were running 17th or running second and third. Y'all were always right next to each other and never once touched. So great job on that. You got any sponsors or shout outs you want to throw out there?
only sponsor is JC Race Graphics on Facebook. That's my paint company. I design cars for people. So if y'all need a paint scheme, hit me up.
There you have it. So you need a paint scheme, hit up Jonah. He'll get you hooked up, get you looking pretty, and maybe you can be fast while you're looking pretty as well.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
All right, and that will end our interviews. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up the results. And while I do, Tanner, last thoughts on tonight's race.
Man, Zach, last thoughts is what an ending. I mean, that definitely did not go the way I thought it was going to go. I thought the '07 had him covered, and I thought he got second. I forgot he got third, actually. So that was my mistake in the interviews. But still, podium finish, can't beat it. I guess you could win. But still, overall, though, Zach, the race was great. We had 2 quick cautions, and then, like we said at the beginning of the race, before they even took the green flag, this series is known for long green flag runs, and if you're a fan of that, then you got well what you wanted. That's for sure. And they do this every single week. And I know we said we have an off week next week, but we'll be back calling action in 2 weeks. I don't even remember the track, Zach. I just know these fellas, they got Daytona Road Course coming at some point. That's all I remember.
Yeah, they got, yeah, I don't remember either. So we're going to take a quick look at it, and we'll head out of here. How about that? We'll do that.
Sorry for changing it up, but I'm just sporadic on the mind.
You're good. As we head to Dover in 2 weeks on April 9th. Like I said, I will not be broadcasting that, but I'll be at an NBA game that night, so I'll make sure to peek into that race while I'm there. But man, Dover's a really fun track, so it's a shame I'm gonna miss it, but I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of show these guys can put on there. And then, man, IRP. I mean, we look at all these tough tracks, Talladega, Daytona Road Course tonight, but man, IRP is not an easy track, and I'm looking forward to that race in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, IRP. We're actually going there for my big money league on Sunday this week, and I can go and tell you from testing, that's going to be a rough one. That's a very, very tough track. It's a small track. Xfinity used to race there in real life. I wish they would go back so bad because I think the racing there would be great. But yeah, that's one to circle and look forward to. And Dover is as well too. So like tonight, long green flag run. I expect that at Dover. IRP, man, that's a tough track, buddy. I don't know. But overall, thoughts on the night, great racing, and congratulations to Garrett Kinder. My bad luck did not come to him tonight, and he pulled it off.
Absolutely. Congrats to Kinder on the win, and congrats to everybody in the race tonight for a heck of a show they put on. Hope you guys enjoyed this show. We got more coming to you at 11 o'clock Eastern with the ARCA cars at Daytona, so make sure to tune in for that. But for the Xtreme Xfinity Series, it's been Zach and Tanner in the booth. Have a